Hello, hello. Welcome. I'm going to check over here. We always are checking, aren't we? Make sure that it's showing up in the places it needs to be showing up. So, welcome. I'm Kathy Freeman, and if you're going to be watching the replay, yep, it does say I'm live, and there I am right there. That's great. Now, the other wonderful thing, hello. I'm glad you're here. If you'll go ahead and just say hello to me, put a little comment in there. That would be great. I also have this showing in YouTube, which I'm not really seeing the comments on that. I'm not set up for that. I've got to get a little more organized to be able to see all those comments. But I do have it, excuse me, in my little art center over the little art village, and it's in the event center. So if you're one of my members, you will see it. Go to the my little art village, by typing in myartsisters.com. You'll go to our art village, and then on the art village, go to the event center, because I always like to show this in there. It's an easy access. Now, I love to see your comments. So if you'll to be able to make comments, what you'll do is, like, this shows you a page. That's what the page looks like. You scroll down, you see that little block right there. And of course you have to push the arrow, but before you push the arrow, up here at the top is the little rectangle. And it says right there, it's a Grow Joy Day live. It says join the chat. So you will click on that, and it says first name, and scroll down after you type in your first name and put your last name, and then join the chat. And that way you'll be able to, I can see and visit with you just as well. So that's how that one works, just in case you're brand new to that. Welcome here, because I am excited to share this. I'm going to work in my art journal. And I see we got more comments. So just say hello to me, pop in and put your hellos in the chat. I'd love to be able to visit with you and say hello back to you. I have here, I'm going to go ahead and share this other camera while we're just talking for a second. And that I've got on my table these wonderful calla lilies. And this is part of the downloadable packet that I created for my members, that's in the Grow Joy journaling group. And if you're part of my Art Sisters, you have access to this too. But right now, while we're everybody's coming on and that, I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting, because I don't know, there's nothing more boring than to watch somebody sit and cut. And so I have most of it cut out, but I had this little last minute idea, and I was like, ooh, I think I want to try that in my journal. And so I needed another calla lily to do that. I've also wanted to use some watercolor. So I wanted to show you this because, there's just those days or those times, those seasons in our life when we really aren't up to pulling out all of the paints. Maybe we're not organized and we're trying to get our space ready. And so that's why I started creating these downloads for my members, because rather than not being able to have the time or be creative with the time that you have, I thought, okay, this works beautifully too. So just a second, I need to finish that little cut right there. And there we go. If you've been watching me, you've noticed that my logo, I've gone back to a logo that I used years ago and pulled it out. And it was just like seeing an old friend again. I loved it. And it's a little friend had it professionally done for me back then, and it's for my Real Positive Change. And so I pulled that back in. Anyway, you don't want to know all that. Okay, let's take these off. And I don't see any comments that have popped up here yet, but I hope you're having a great day. And at some point, I'll be able to see these comments. Let me go ahead and change cameras here so that you can see what we're actually doing. Give me a second while I check this out. Here we go. All right, this is my journal right here. And if you see, there's a bigger packet, but I just love these calla lilies. And so I pulled those out. And my thinking is, as I went ahead, I create downloads, templates for my members so that they can create with those. And the template that I gave to them is this one. And I thought I'm going to go ahead and paint that. Let's get that under this better. I'm going to go ahead and paint that. Let's see here if I pull this out a little bit. That might be just perfect. I'll undo that and then I can pull my camera out a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Let's not mess that up too bad. There we go. This little cadalily is the template, but I went ahead and transferred with graphite paper onto my watercolor paper here. And I wanted to give myself a little time to actually use the art, but I'm telling you this because if you don't have time to paint, please do not let that be a stopper for you, because you have this template. If you're part of the group, you have this template and you can very easily do what I'm doing by putting that on. All right. So I'm going to use that. And then I have these smaller ones that came in the set that I have. I'm going to use those over here on this side. And I created this week in that group, it's journaling group, I put in a little message about forgiveness, and so I wanted to remember that for myself and the download on that. And then I found myself some creative reminders, the positive statements to help me remember what's important for, for my own self. And so I'm going to put that, I put it in a little book form and I'm going to put it over here. And my thought is that I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And then where this overlaps, I'm going to take the second one, attach it on, and then probably cut it so that when you see it, that flower follows through. But let's see how it goes. Let's first start with the painting and have a little fun doing that. I've got my watercolors out and I'm going to start painting this one right here. Do you like to watercolor? Is that something that you enjoy doing? I think another thing you can do is to take those and make yourself, I've been framing, let's see where I put those. I've been framing some of these and putting them so that I can have them in frames. And see, I've got the catalily here and then a little lamb. This is a collage that's put together for the group. And you can frame those and do that with that. All right, so let me wet this here and get that going. My little spray. I want to mix this. So I'm going to put this red down here, add some water to it, kind of mix these up first. And I'm going to be using a yellow in it, and I'm going to be doing a green. And the green is in the stem, but it does come up a little bit into the top of the catalily. So let's just start with our first layer here and put that on. Just apply that as we go. All right. Do you have a journal that you create in yourself? Put that in the comments if you do. Let me know. Need a smaller brush to go right into that end right there. This one is a nice fat one. This is a size 18. And when I want just a large space done, then I use it to create that. I'm going to go up into this area here. We're just doing our base coat with this first. Watch out for that. What's that called? Stamen? I don't know. If you're a botanist or something, maybe you would know. Let's lift that up. I think I want to go ahead and just place something underneath here. How's your Tuesday going? This is a fun time to do this. Gives us time to wake up and to get going. Okay, so I've got a good base, and I'm going to come underneath here a little bit. Bring that down, but I want to use the yellow more, so just bring a little bit of it. Okay, let's see if I can get in that corner. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? But it has to be enjoyable. I was thinking today, as I was getting myself ready for the day and I was thinking about, when you're younger, you don't think a lot about taking care of all the little things that you need. Let your parents do that, right? You don't need to do that. They're always watching your health and etc. But as you get older and you start, obviously, you start being the one in charge of your health. Let's take off some of that right now before it dries to create a little bit of a highlight for it, because that's around the end. So I'm just taking my dry brush and I'm lifting it off and pulling that back, but I still want it to I don't want rough edges. I don't want sharp edges. I want it to flow naturally. Okay, we'll leave that like that. So let's go in and add now a little more color to it. And get it deeper. And we're going to just let it, look how it just wants to, I love that. I love how it blooms out. And that's a personal, I just love that. Okay, where was I going? I do that a lot. I get started and then I get sidetracked with something else. Now it's coming over into the other side here because it's not dry. So I'm going to lift it a little bit just because it's all right that it's over there, but I don't want it to be dark there yet. So I'm going to lift it a little bit just because it's not dry. And of course, if you're doing this on, at home and that, you have the time to do that. But on camera, doing these lives, I don't want it to be too long. I might just use my little heat gun and kind of lift that up a little bit for us, but especially in that area. Anyway, I was thinking about the self-care, and as I was getting ready for the morning, and I thought, we got to make it fun because we're the only ones that's doing it for ourselves. And I was thinking about, it's one thing I love about creating art, or especially with my no, I'm not a super big journal writer, so it's not like I write tons of stuff in a journal, but I do love to find a statement, a creative reminder, I call them, that just helps me to stay focused, gives my mind a good direction, and kind of takes it out of, there's enough going on in the world that we can sit and worry about. But I want my mind to really focus on positive, healthy things, because it affects our health, truly. We get too wrapped up in that. And so I was thinking, this is called fun self-care, right? This is fun self-care. We have a great time doing this. Okay, I'm going to add another color to that. Pull out where's my little browns? Okay. For my other palette. I'm going to grab the browns and add this. And it's just to get it a little deeper into the coloring. Actually, let's see this color right here. It's a lavender. So that is that would be nice. Make that really deep right there. Goes down into the flower. Lift this up. Keep that. I'm going to quit trying to fight against it. Let's use the dryer. Isn't that a beautiful color? I don't know if you can even see it on camera. The camera never shows things as beautiful as they truly are in person. It just takes a quick second. I'll give that a little bit of a dry there. Pulled out, I found my other palette that I was looking for. I like these smaller palettes. All right. And I'm going to reach in here and keep going with this. Let's add a little yellow at this time. It's this yellow right here. It's a beautiful warm yellow. And let's add that over here. We'll just start working on it while the other's drying. Bring it up. Move it. Another layer of that. Okay, well, that's wet. I'm going to go back to the red. We're going to add that underneath here and let it kind of do its own little bleeding down. You can see that on camera there. Just guide it a little bit. And take the water off my brush. I'm going to pull it up because I want it to come down but not overtake that yellow because I really want to hold on to that yellow. I think I'm going to go ahead now and change to a medium, a smaller brush. I'm going to use, what size is this? This is an 8. So it'll be easier to navigate some of the things. Okay, while this is going, let's get the green. I'm using my favorite, which is a apple green. And we're going to come up from the bottom. Put this over here. Add some water to that. Let that move up. Blend itself in. Are you creating along with me? Or what are you working on today? And if you're joining me in my event center, you've gone to myartsisters.com and you're over in the little event center watching. There's that little box with kind of the little arrow that pops off of it. And with that is your ability that if you'll just sign into that, and you'll be able to make comments. I'd love to say hello to you. Okay, get those to, if you can see this all right. All right, I'm gonna go back to this red. Let's make another. The nice thing about using the large brush, so you don't get so uptight. I mean, you can't, it's too large. Really helps you loosen up. So it's one thing I like about that. I am going to, is this wet? Yes, it is. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dry this a little bit. You'd walk away and let it dry, but I'm going to just. Now we can come in and we're going to start bringing some of this in on this little fold over here. Using just the water. These brushes I have the really long. They're fun if you're standing or something, but doing it under a camera and a light is, you'll always hear these little ching like that. Just blend this in a little. Grab some of that yellow. Add that up here. And add just a tiny bit. I'm looking for the right brown. You know how sometimes you just need that right kind of a, let's try this one. It's kind of a, just to add some shading. Get this darker under here so it really will pop out. This leaf, this fold over. And that is the color I wanted. It's beautiful. Let's get a little darker. A little more dramatic with it. Strokes, I want to make sure that my strokes go in the curved direction of the flower. Super important. Let's put a little bit on this side here. And I'm going to blend that together with the yellow. Come up to it. Blend those together. Add the water just by itself. It'll smooth it out. All right. Let's see, I'm not sure. Is my camera? There we go. Is it moving? Or am I moving? All right, we're going to go back in now. Let's see. Let's use our large brush for this. Grab that. We need another layer of the red up here. And of course, the petal, I purposely cut the petal off. So I've got to look at, okay, the arch would be, the curve would be up that direction. Bring the color. You want to leave the light up towards the curve so that it has that highlight. But bring the color down towards the center. And actually, if I was to do this a second time, I would start down here and the inside and work out. Add a little more of this here. Get this darker underneath. And right here on the tip. Grab that. Actually, I'll use my other brush for that. It's got a beautiful, nice tip on it. Isn't that wonderful how that just... Okay. Lift this up. I'm going to dry that. Well, before I do, let's add a little yellow to it so it blends well. Grab that yellow. It needs to be just a little bit light. Not a lot. Lift some of this. I got a lot of wonderful color here. I'm going to work back, pull it backwards. Try not to hit that. Hit the light. I'm pulling off some of that. I've got a lot of water and pigment. So I'm pulling it off. You can add it right down in here. I'm going to turn this. So my arm doesn't get on the. This is such relaxing. If you don't enjoy watercolor and maybe your acrylics, you can do this so easily with acrylics, what I'm doing. And there again, just don't, sorry, I'm so sorry about that. If you just don't feel like, you want to pull all the things out, then join my group and be able to get the downloads. And if you're part of the group and you're watching, then look over in that library, ladies. It's the Grow Joy, and there is a packet for the month of April. I just started this little group, and I started it back in, was it February? I guess it was February. And it's really been evolving and growing, changing. Which goes along with my whole business name, Real Positive Change. We're all going to change. Let's change for the positive, right? Let's have those. Isn't that beautiful? Don't you love that? I get so excited when it does things like that. Oh, I love it. And even if it didn't, it's just the fact that you're doing something that you love. You're enjoying yourself. Okay, I do love that. I don't love the harsh edge there. I'm going to grab my pretty color that I found. Where is it? I'm trying to keep this in the camera for you. Let's grab that. I want to say chestnut. That's the color it kind of reminds me of. It's like a chestnut. Now I'm feeling like I should really dry it super quick so it doesn't bleed over. I'm going to work with it. All right, let's go like this. Move it along the edge there. Come across the top here, blend this down. Like that. Grab that color a little more. Go up in here. There, I'm going to leave it like that. Kind of using this as, I guess, like the blender. I don't know what the word would be, but soften some of those harsh edges is what I'm trying to say. I love that. I love that. I could sit and play with that longer, but I'm going to leave it. I'm going to grab now the yellow, and we're going to do the inside here of the stamen. And I'm trying to be just a little careful because it is wet all around it. I don't want it to bleed. I want it to stay. Okay, I am going to dry that real quick. Okay, we're going to mix this with some of that yellow. And then it's pretty dark. I don't want it that dark yet. One thing about watercolors, you have to be patient. Do it in stages. Grab a little more. There. There we go. It's beautiful. I love that. Totally love that. Now, you can always see the creases in that on it. Let's see. What do I want to use for that? Maybe just my tip of the color that I've been using for that what I call chestnut. I've got this wonderful brush, and it's got this fabulous tip on it. Let's put some of that over here. Come back in and kind of make those, it's like little veinings or something. I don't know. I'm not that. You could use with this your colored pencils. I'm barely touching the surface and just dragging it very quickly. Like that. These are such elegant flowers. Sure, I hope it's all dry because you don't want to do this until it's completely dry. These lines need to be curving, and these need to arc a little bit this direction. So you get that flow. If you wanted, you could take your pen and ink and outline it. but I don't want that such a defining. Love that. There we go. That's this page. Now we'll take it and work on this other side while that's drying. Clean up this little mess here. I could have painted over here, but I thought, let's just try this other. So I'm going to use my matte medium. And I have, where are you? Where are you? Here they are. So acrylic pastels. I'm going to use those to finish out the stem. A little bit on that. Wow. Got it dried hard there. Let me put this. It's easy if you can kind of put it in a little. Let's put it on this little jar like this. And I can use my spatula. If you don't have something, I never like to use my brushes, unless of course you have a brush specific for this, because it's like glue and it'll ruin your brush. You could use just good old regular glue. But the matte medium, we're going to go over the top of it. Oopsie. Grab my got quiet people today. No comments. At least I can't see any where I'm looking at. Maybe making a comment in the yeah, you might be making a comment in the other one and I'm just not seeing it. I apologize. I have to set up multiple cameras. Okay, don't rub it too much. You'll bring off the ink. Just enough to get that down. Kind of smooth it out. I am going to use just good old craft glue for this and place this one down. And I'm going to use my paper towel. Go around here. Clean that up a little. So it's always good to dry in between the layers. If you get too many going, then it's not a good thing. I love this one declaration I pulled. Well, I love them both, but each day I am free to choose the attitude and behavior that will guide me. I choose where I stand and where I reside in my own thoughts and actions. With the gift of agency, I take control of my responses, aligning them with peace, positivity, and purpose. I am empowered to shape my day with God's guidance and my own choices. So that's my little declaration for today that I want to focus my mind on. These are little things I ask. It's like a prayer, asking God to help me to keep my mind positive, even in around so much negativity, to align with those things. All right, so and when, yep, this week's lesson is on resentfulness, resentful, feeling resentful. You never, I never thought that's going to have to stick for a little bit. Let's close the book so it can just really dry. And I'll do that after we get through here, and it can just dry, put something heavy on it. But to finish it, let me go ahead and take that piece of the flower. That's quite a bit of the flower. There we go. Let's see if we can fill that. I've not done this like this, but I thought this would be fun. Let's try it, right? It's always a good adventure. So I guess the easiest way to do this would probably be to open it up, align the little flower best I can, and then use this as a marking tool to draw the shape. Now the tricky part is going to be, where did I put my scissors? Stuck them up there. I cut this out. Save that. You can always use that for something. You could do it like that, or you could do on the inside here. So let's see here for a minute. Is there a preference? When you open it up, you can also make another copy. Put it like this. I think just for the fun of it, we should do it out here. See, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use my little glue stick, just because it's a lot faster. Yes. Anyway, I was saying the lesson was on resentful, feeling resentful. And it's interesting. I looked that up, the definition for it, and it said in there, and I've actually got this in a blog. I put it out there for the public. So if you want to see it, you have access to it. Go to, where is my blog? On the little campsite. Let me open up for just a quick second. I have my members put a little link right there on there. It's our campsite down here in this healthy hints. is where I'm going to host, and I am hosting the blog right there. Click on that, and there it is. First one, forgiveness. Click on it. Almost needs a button. I have to look into that. But I've got the whole thing right there. I didn't put in the prompts and that I, give to the members for journaling. But anyhow, good information, because I never thought of myself as being resentful or feeling resentful towards things. But I noticed that I was getting agitated quite often over a situation, and I was feeling quite frustrated. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? I love it. I'm feeling quite frustrated with it. And so, let's see. There we go. I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off a little bit. So let me turn it and do it from this direction. Anyway, the definition, I apologize. I'm all over the place. The definition is feeling forced by someone or something. You think about it. You think about, all the times in your life we have all felt that. There we go. I love that. We've all felt that way because, I know how many times I make my kids eat those carrots on that plate. They're good for you. And they are good for them. All right. But anyway, it's a great article. I'm not sitting there tooting my horn. I don't mean to do that. I'm just saying that the whole concept has opened my eyes up and really helped me to see things in a different light, which I think is so important. It's all about being able to change and willing to change. Here's my pretty green. Yes, that's the green. These are wonderful. I love these. These are my acrylic pastels. Let me put this over here on this. I need to carefully. There we go. Let's just bring it down a little more. This is the other thing too, is maybe you don't want to paint, but you could go right over with acrylics, with, your past, anything you've got, and go right over the image. And create on the image. That's a fun thing to do. I'm going to take this dark color here. We're going to come down and blend that in. Now where it's dark there. Give a little outlining to it. All right. We are finished with that page. Thank you for joining me. This is a lot of fun creating this together. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back on here again next Tuesday with another project. You can visit my website, KathyFreemanArt.com, and see what's going on there. You can also just cruise around the little art village. There's things, I've got the replays on there. You'll find the replays up in the Grow Joy nursery. There's the replays for the last month or so on that, and other resources on there. All right. So thanks for being here, and I will check with you again later. Have a great day.